Okay, so as much as I enjoyed the last two Hunger Games prequels and would pretty much read anything from the Hunger Games Pan Am universe that Suzanne Collins would put out, I gotta say, if she never covers the 25th Hunger Games, does a story or a book on that, I think that'd just be a wasted opportunity. For those of you who read the books, remember the 25th Hunger Games would be the first quarter quell, and this would be the one where the capitalists told the districts, hey, you got to decide, you got to vote on who to send to the Hunger Games. I think you could come up with all sorts of stories with that on how the districts decide who to send off to their deaths and the process. Now, I would think that they would, the capital would say, hey, you all got to go to this caucus, a meeting to make the decision. And you throw some roadblocks up to them. You couldn't just be a simple majority, because they could do that in one vote, where you'd have 100 people, and you get 99 people all voting for different people. So 99 suggestions, and then one guy joins one of them, so you only have 2 votes that decide who gets to send off to their deaths. It'd have to be almost like a complete majority of like 98% of the vote for them to send up these kids off to their deaths. Because the whole reason I think that the capitals decided to make the districts decide this was to make them a part of it, make them just as guilty as the capital, culpable, if you will, in sending these kids off to their deaths. Because, after 24 Hunger Games of the capital snatching up their kids, everyone's mad. They're about to have uprisings. But now the capital has found a way to sort of tear at the fabrics inside of each district. So you'd have these factions say, hey, we don't like those people, so we want to send their kids off to die. And then those people are like, no, we don't like you. We should send your kids off to die. Like I said, the story, I think, would just focus on how they decide who gets to send off to their deaths. Like the actual Hunger Games wouldn't be that important. I would even go as far as to say that the perspective wouldn't be someone who gets sent off to that Hunger Games, but like a family member who's either, the parent or an older sibling who's not going to be a part of the Hunger Games. They have to go to that meeting and, lo and behold, their family member gets sent off to the Hunger Games. And then that person wins. So this wouldn't be set in District 12. And, they come back, they're psychotic, and they hate everyone in the town for sending them off pretty much to their death. So I think you get all interesting stories. Like I said, most of it would just be centered in that meeting hall or whatnot. And like I said, it's got to be like an almost absolute majority. I would even throw in rules like no secret ballots. Everyone has to get up there and say who they're voting for. And no orphans. No easy outs like that. You can't just say, well, these kids ain't got any parents. They ain't got any family. So when they die, we won't have to deal with their families being mad at us for sending them off to their deaths. No, none of that. You actually have to pick someone from one of the families. Yeah, I think those would be some interesting stories. But if Suzanne Collins doesn't do that, whatever.